At the end of every day, look at yourself in the mirror and ask, did I get better today? Monday, get better. Tuesday, get better. Wednesday, get better. If you do that for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, how much better will you be? Are you getting better every single day? That's the real question. And it all comes down to taking small steps. You don't have to accomplish everything in one day or even 1 week. Just focus on getting a little better every single day.
And welcome back to another episode of Real Estate AF, where the AF stands for And Finance. And I'm your host, Mark Jones, and we are powered by LoanBot, who is getting an upgrade here in the next couple of days to LoanBot AI. Be on the lookout as we release on June 24th in Las Vegas at Masterminds event. And for today's episode, I brought along a friend that I've known for quite some time. Matter of fact, he's known the entire family of mine for quite some time. And I think it was appropriate and timing to bring him on to showcase kind of what others are doing out there in the market, how they're getting themselves exposed, becoming the expert in their community. So real quick, let me read this bio about this gentleman. So today I am sitting with Jason Smith, publisher of San Antonio Real Producers and one of the people behind some of the most relationship-driven media in San Antonio real estate. Jason's world is where publishing, networking, storytelling, and real estate all collide. He works directly with top agents, local businesses, and community leaders so that we're going to dig into what he sees behind the scenes in his market and who really is winning, what agents are doing differently, and why relationships still matter more than ever in today's market. So without further ado, Jason Smith. Jason, how are you?
Hey, Mark, thanks for having me on. Glad to be here, man.
Absolutely. It took us a bit to get here, but we are here. Dang
yes.
it. Yeah. And to start the show, I want to give you some time to tell us about you. There's some folks out there that have heard of the magazine. They've even heard of the magazine that you used to promote before this, but don't know who the man behind the scene, the man behind the curtain is.
Yeah.
So tell us about yourself, Jason.
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, I would say I'm a man of faith, father to 2 boys, Jordan and Ethan, and in 2 days, marrying the love of my life,
That's
Veronica.
Awesome. Yeah, man. Congratulations on that.
Yeah.
So in the industry that you are in, how did you begin this process, this journey? Are you from San Antonio? Tell us a little bit more.
Yeah. I grew up in Fort Worth and then went off to college. Got my bachelor's degree in theology, master's degree in counseling, then got my MBA in leadership. Came back to Texas in various roles, Texas boy through and through. So, got back here as soon as I possibly could. And I just fell in love with San Antonio. So we actually moved here in 2010 and I helped a small church plant get going and running.
Okay.
And then in 2014, I was just really burned out. We had a lot of success and, God really used that time in that chapter. But I also knew that my boys were beginning to get bigger. Things were just, stressful in the personal world. You can't fill other people's cup when yours is empty.
Man, that's so true. That is so true. Yeah.
And so I was pouring out, but at that time in my life, I was making the mistake of not filling back up. And, whether, it's your phone or your car or, your body's the same way, you can only run on E for so long.
So true.
And so during that time, a friend of mine was running a magazine for the Alamo Ranch community.
Okay.
And I was writing articles in that magazine, and that was our target community out there that we really wanted to reach. And so when I transitioned away from the church world, he reached out to me and said, hey, I don't know what you're looking for or what your next chapter is going to be, but maybe you should consider my back office, which is called the N2 company, N and the number 2. And so I pulled it up and right on the front screen, it said mission statement, build a national company that honors God, strengthens the family, and provides financial freedom for all involved.
Wow.
I went check.
Amen. Yeah. Wow.
So yeah, very, very few times in my life have I heard, God say like, this is it.
I'm talking to you right now, by
This
the way.
is it.
Yeah, right. Very cool.
And so, so at that time, I launched my Stroll Dominion magazine.
Okay. So that was you originally launching that.
Yep.
Okay. And how long ago was that?
That was 12 years ago.
Wow, man. Yeah. Wow. Yes.
I can't believe it.
Gosh, 12 years. I got in the business in 2012. So that's almost 14 years. So 2 years after I got into the business, that's when you launched that thing.
That's when I
and
launched
boy, oh boy, did I see it everywhere.
Well, it took off. God chose to really bless it. 12 years in, we're the exclusive publication of the Dominion Homeowners and the Dominion Country Club.
Yep.
And forever thankful for the Dominion, not for the way that they embraced the magazine, but for the way they embraced me and my family. I'll be forever grateful to that group of homeowners just because I got a front row seat to learn how they think. And
would you be able to explain on that a little bit? Yeah, go for it.
What I love about the Dominion is that it, by and large, it's not old money. It's earned money.
Oh, I love that.
And so you have people that through their education, through their career, through their travel, have gone out and, just if I can say it, done some shit.
That's right.
And have built incredible lives for themselves. And because of that, they have such wisdom. They have such experience. The thing that I tell people all the time, the reason why you want to do business in the Dominion, if you are a business owner in San Antonio, is because you will not find a better group of people to be connected to.
Yeah.
They think differently. They make purchasing decisions differently. They run their lives differently. And, and just getting to hear their experiences and getting to know them and things like that, it's for just ever changed how I think.
Yeah, man. And I love the fact that you opened or led with the old money versus earned money concept, because even George Strait didn't come from money.
Right.
And he worked his way up at every honky tonk until he was the man. And that's one of the people that live in there. And you go, well, okay, what about the other people? And each of the friends that I know, they didn't come from money either that live in there.
Right.
That's a pretty solid testament, and how they are all migrating to that sector of San Antonio, so to speak, is pretty cool. But then at the same time, what is that? Birds of a feather. They tend to flock together.
Right. The proximity principle, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And, whether that's in the Dominion or whether that's in business or, I teach my sons all the time. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
That's right. Get out of that room.
If you're the most talented person in the room, you're in the wrong room. And so, you will become like the average of the top 5 people that you spend the most time with.
Yeah.
And that's a biblical principle as well. He that walks with wise men becomes wise.
Yeah.
And so, friends are like elevators. They take you up or they bring you down.
Oh, that's so true.
So, just being a part of that community and then helping them, find those businesses that really become their preferred vendors has been everything. And, so big shout out to the Dominion today. Thank you so much. If I've never had a chance to say this publicly, I want to make sure I take a moment to do that.
That's awesome.
And so, so it became the top neighborhood magazine in the country. And then 2022, early 2023, we began to develop a new product line called Real Producers.
So before we get into that, I want to ask a couple of questions about the leading up to this new magazine, because many people think magazine, outdated, prehistoric even, but at the same time, this type of demographic, the target audience that's receiving this magazine, is not someone that's going to say, I'd rather digitally read that.
Right.
They want to feel it. They want to see the pictures. They want to be engulfed into that home that's being showcased, that business owner that's telling his story, etc. And I didn't believe that until back in the day I invested in it. It was like, wait a minute, these people really do love this magazine.
They do.
What is something that you attribute that to, if that makes sense? I mean, not necessarily the type of people that they are, but what else would you attribute that to?
Well, in coaching, in general, I help business owners understand that just like your spouse has a love language, your clients have a love language, and you have to speak the language of your clients.
Yeah.
Right. Good advertising goes to the right people and to the right eyes.
Mhm.
Doesn't matter if no one sees it.
Right.
Doesn't matter if the wrong people see it.
Yeah.
And so you have to understand how your ideal client makes purchasing decisions and how you can connect to them in a way that generates trust and credibility, whether that's the Dominion or whether that's college students or whether that's Gen Xers or whoever that is. You got to figure out how you can connect to your ideal client, because if you can't, you're not going to be in business very long.
Right.
And so this demographic, to discuss the print piece, it really is a connector. And so general print, spray and pray, that by and large is junk mail. Yeah. I will say I get a lot of magazines at my house that don't make it, don't make it in.
Right.
So I think what separates us is our content. Because there's a connection to the content, and because it's such a niche driven publication, exclusively to the Dominion, that's why it gets read. It was a real eye-opening turning point for me years ago when I was reading about Lamborghini, and now have even talked to to their GM here. And, they said, we don't advertise on TV because that's not where our customers are. And
smart. It's true.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, so, with Facebook doesn't own their content, right? I mean, we can all complain about social media.
Yeah, you're right.
This, that, but
it's all ours.
But right, we generate the content for them. And because of that, millions of people this morning were on Facebook.
That's right. I think I made like $3 last month.
Right.
But yeah, you're right.
And so it's the same way. I don't own my content. All of my content comes from the Dominion community, their families, kids, pets, homes, events. It's all driven and generated by them. So when they pull it out, it's like Facebook on paper.
That's right.
But there's another piece to it. The other piece to it is because that print magazine has credibility to it, and it has my name on it, right? People do business with people that they like, know, and trust.
That's right.
The Dominion does business with the vendors of my magazine because they like, know, trust me. And so you get to trade on my credibility.
That's strong.
With them.
Yeah. And
so like I get a text message a week, or sometimes a day. I need this. I need that. I need this. Call him, call her, call them. And so, I'll never forget Glenn Glass, longtime San Antonio attorney, he's lived in the Dominion for years, was at one of my events. So in addition to the magazine, we also do private events.
Sure.
Dominion.
And we'll get into that.
Yep. He came up to me and he said, Jason, I love the magazine because I get a chance to see the businesses who are in there. I said, well, Glenn, I appreciate that. But even I know you don't read my magazine for the ads, but I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And he said, no, Jason, I like it because I know that if they're in that magazine, your magazine, they're supporting the Dominion and they got a little credibility to them.
I like that. And yeah, you're right.
At
least at minimum, they put their money where their mouth is, So with the magazine, with you getting into this, let's call it another world. And for you, when you first ventured into this, tackling the Dominion, did you already live in the Dominion?
I did not.
Give us that perspective of Mr. Smith walking up in there like, hey guys, I've got this idea.
Yeah.
Please believe me.
Yeah.
Who the hell are you?
Right. Well, thankfully, like I tell my son, don't be so smart you outthink yourself. Had I thought about that the Dominion was gated and guarded and, all these other things, I probably would have freaked out.
Yeah.
So thank God I'm not that smart. And I just believed that it was all going to somehow work out. And so, ironic story, I actually did approach the general manager of the HOA at the time, who was a friend of mine. I said, hey, I've got this idea. And they actually said they didn't want to be a part of it. And so I was like, oh, okay. And
that had to be what, like 2013, 2014?
2014. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, well, this is off to a great start.
Yeah.
But then I was just up at the club one day and I met Lynn Hicks.
Okay.
And Lynn was on the board at the time and for some reason decided that she liked me. And her and Larry.
It was the smile, man.
Her and Larry are in their 80s.
Okay.
And they've lived in the Dominion for over 40 years.
Wow.
And she began to introduce me to other board members, her friends, which was everyone.
Wow.
And I don't have a magazine if it's not for Lynn and Larry Hicks.
How cool.
And so they will be unsung heroes, and even sat with them in their living room last week. I go over a couple of times a month and check on them, make sure they're okay.
Sure.
And, when I'm in the neighborhood, I always stop by and, have coffee and just see how they're doing.
Yeah.
They're in their 80s. And it was really cool. I had a chance to just say, we all at some point in our lives are going to ask ourselves, did any of it matter?
Mm. Absolutely.
Did any of it matter? Long after all the titles and all the businesses and all the things are over, I've had a chance to be around a lot of really great people as they get into the fourth quarter of their lives. And I don't care who you are, when you realize that there's more time behind you than in front of you, you begin to look back a little bit. I said, I just want you guys to know that if you've ever asked yourself the question, did any of it matter? For me, it mattered more than you'll ever know.
Man, that's a testament in itself. And it is something that most will never get to, I don't want to say ask themselves because it's a simple question, but you're right. Going through the motions of this life, what are you leaving behind? What are you taking with you? What is everyone out there? And sometimes it doesn't even matter.
Right.
Whatever, you know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, that's, and you got that concept from them, huh?
Yeah.
That's very strong. How cool of a encounter that led to a lifelong relationship.
Oh, absolutely. They're going to be at the wedding on Thursday.
How cool.
And, the running joke with both my boys when we're driving through the Dominion is that I know everyone in the Dominion, and I actually know very few people in my own neighborhood. So
that's funny. That's funny. Yeah, that's cool. So at that point, you had this magazine doing very well, consistent and regular promoters of it, contributors to it, which was the network of the business owners, the realtors, and shakers and movers, so to speak, within not just the Dominion, but San Antonio. And for those that got into that magazine, they were now trusted because it came with a badge of Jason Smith. At what point did the transition shift to, let me focus on something that there is definitely I don't want to say a void, but a need that could be filled?
Really, it was around COVID, during the pandemic. And during that time, we began to, just like years ago, we began to understand that in the absence of authentic community, we create artificial community, right? Mm-hmm. In the absence of, genuinely knowing our neighbors, we created social media to substitute for that.
Yeah.
We trade at some point as a nation, we traded the front porch for the back deck.
Mm.
And
wow. Yeah.
But we're still wired to want that piece.
Most definitely.
And so we satisfy it online now, by and large. And that is really what made, again, my Dominion magazine so influential and so key.
Yeah.
Is it brought that front porch back to the Dominion. Well, during the pandemic, we began to see sort of the same thing with realtors and real estate agents.
Okay.
So before that, if you wanted to meet a realtor, you didn't really need me or anyone else. You'd bring lunch to the office. You'd pop by to a meeting. You knew where they were.
Right.
But during the pandemic, realtors, much like everyone else, began to transition to working from home. Mm-hmm. They began to work from the phone and
yeah, shift all of their practices, shift all of their daily activities from what used to be in the forefront of in person to now everything virtual, everything behind the scenes, so to speak.
Right. And so we saw a real opportunity because we saw agents that were so busy now.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, Come on.
Bring it back. No.
I mean,
I heard there was a new one coming out.
Right. I mean, if you couldn't make money in 2021, you need to go do something else because you couldn't make it.
That's true. I will attest to that. That's right.
And so, they're running 90 miles an hour. And we found that agents who maybe have done deals together really don't know each other.
Mm-hmm. It's very true.
And so we saw a professional camaraderie that was lacking.
Yeah.
But then we also saw a void or a disconnect between realtors and the community because they need the core four to run their businesses, right? They need good LOs. They need good title companies. They need good home builders. They need good inspectors and appraisers, right? And so those people no longer had a way of accessing and identifying those agents.
Yeah.
And
in addition to the fact that every time you do open up social media, you've got some production specialist that's putting on this front of use me as the realtor when they're realistically not really showing you what their value is.
Well, because
there's a lot of that going on at the moment.
Well, and if I can just say it,
go for it.
There's not a lot of value.
There you go. That's exactly correct.
There's a lot of posers and imposters
you got it.
On social media.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people who, for whatever reason, are trying to say, oh, well, this agent drives this car, or that agent produced that video, or this is how so-and-so does things. And so they take the methodology, they take the function, but they don't know the principle behind it.
That's right.
And so because of that, there's no power to it. And so Facebook is, just that. There's a lot of videos. My feed is full of realtors,
Same here. This
video
morning,
after video after video after video.
Yeah.
And they all look the same. And
they're getting even worse. This morning I pulled up, what was it? Social media. And it was a realtor video that had over 2,000 likes on it, X amount of thousand comments, hundreds of views, 100,000 views. And it is a video of the realtor setting up a red carpet, balloons, bringing in a barbecue pit, bringing in a TV brand new, bringing in something. And I'm going, okay, wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing this for your or for your buyer that's closing on a home, getting them all of these things when the thing of value is the home.
Right.
And the fact that they're no longer paying rent. So we're taking away the real value to replace it with some fugazi.
Right. The agents that do well understand how to communicate value authentically.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of, your average real estate agent in San Antonio, and this is something I didn't know until I launched Real Producers. Over 60% of the realtors in San Antonio last year did 0 to 1 transactions.
0 to 1. That's pretty accurate.
And so,
but from those same agents, they probably posted and have a video crew and have a this and have a that. Why?
Right.
I mean, we've lost the idea of what we were actually supposed to be doing for these customers in the hunt to try and capture new customers.
Right. So there's a lot of frustration from the business community because you go buy lunch or you take them out for coffee or you stop by the team meeting and the top producers aren't there.
That's right. We're working.
Right. Right.
Yes. Always has been the case. But you've got new waves of realtors, new waves of lenders that come into the industry. They don't know better. So they go to the networking events. They go to the promoted builder things to where the people showing up, guess what? They're going to be at the next one too. And the next one and the next one. Why? Because they're not producing.
Right.
Bottom line. So you launched Real Producers.
Real Producers. Steve Jobs said when he was alive, solve a problem that people don't even know they have. And so you had these people that were doing business the way that they'd always done it.
Yeah.
But the realtors had changed the way they were doing business due to the pandemic and along with everyone else.
Right.
And so we help business owners solve two problems, visibility and credibility. We help you identify who the top agents in San Antonio are,
Mhm.
because everything we do for real estate agents at Real Producers is absolutely free.
Okay.
So when you see, Jason Glass, or you see Miguel Herrera,
Mhm.
or you see
Sandra Rangel.
Sandra
Matter of fact,
Rangel, yeah.
Alyssa, if you could throw the reference up real quick, just so you know, folks, you can visit realproducersmagazine.com and find some of the issues there. I don't think you can actually see the issues. You got to see the paper. Oh, you can actually see them.
Yep.
Look at that. How cool. Okay. So right there, good friend Sandra Rangel and plenty of others in this magazine. And I think the biggest value add is that when I look at this magazine, I don't have to go and look at their numbers. I know who they are.
Yep.
I know they're producers.
Right.
I talk to these kind of people, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's just very, very strong, especially when it's cover to cover value.
Right. We are not a real estate magazine. We're a real estate agent magazine.
Yeah.
There's a difference. There's a lot of real estate magazines in San Antonio. I don't really know where they go or what they do, but we go to the top 500 agents in San Antonio and to all of the real estate brokerages.
Right.
And we are about people, not properties. Do we showcase homes and properties? Of course we do,
Sure.
But it's because of the agents behind them. And we tell the stories and we share tips and tactics and best practices. And so the magazine is really about building community and camaraderie among the top agents of San Antonio.
Yeah.
And that's why the top agents use it and read it, because it's not a puff piece or a fluff piece.
Right.
It's a communication piece. And then our business partners get seen as it becomes, as they're reading the magazine. And then we also, do private events with the top agents.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So it's never about how many, it's about who many.
Okay.
And because we did realize that over 85% of the real estate transactions in the greater San Antonio area are generated
done by the top
500.
That's it.
And so we are about partnering with Ben Kahn and Jason and Miguel and, all Robert and Caesar and, and the movers and shakers of the industry, because rooms matter.
That's right.
Right. The rooms you're in, whether you're a real estate agent, whether you're an LO, whether you're a title company, whether you're a roofer or a plumber, pool builder, whoever you are, rooms matter. Rooms empower, rooms energize, rooms equip. And so we put you in the right room on a monthly basis so that you get a chance to put a name and a face with your ad. And that's the second problem we solve for business owners: credibility.
Yeah.
So visibility with the top agents, we let you know who they are, what they're doing, who you want to connect with, and then credibility, we help you generate those necessary relationships.
That's strong.
I partnered yesterday on a broker's open in the Canyons.
Okay.
Great neighborhood.
Shout out the Canyons.
I hear a lot of great people live there.
Yeah, we're all right.
But it was great. Aaron Burrows was there, and, one of my business partners had a chance to exchange numbers with her, and, they're going to lunch next week.
How cool. And what comes of that, who knows, but that's an exchange of value, most definitely.
Right.
The idea of your magazine, the Dominion, very centric to the Dominions. That's who received that magazine. Matter of fact, I don't think it went anywhere but that, right?
Still does.
That's right.
Yeah.
So with this one, it's not going to the Dominions. Who is this magazine going to? Who is its audience?
The magazine goes out to the top 500 agents in San Antonio.
Okay.
Based on production.
Yeah.
And to all the different real estate brokerages of San Antonio.
Okay.
And then there's a digital version that is e-blasted out to the top 1,000.
Wow. And they're not paying for a subscription to see this magazine.
Right. Everything we do for real estate agents is free. When you see real estate agents on the cover of my magazine, they didn't pay for that. They earned that.
That's awesome.
I'll never forget. I called Monique Slater last year with KW. Big shout out to my girl, Monique. And I said, hey, you've been nominated actually by your broker, Grant, to be on the cover of Real Producers. And I'll never forget, classic Monique, she cuts me off. She says, oh, Jason, thanks so much, but I don't have time for this. I'm not going to fill out any of your applications. I'm not going to pay you anything.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I'm not trying to charge you anything. And she said, what? And I said, yeah,
I'm listening.
I said, you've already earned being on the cover of Real Producers. That's why Grant nominated you through your production last year.
That's awesome.
And so we wound up doing the cover story on Monique. You can actually go to the website, find her issue, and it's a great issue.
Heck yeah, she's a hard worker. I've known her for quite some time now, back when she started with, I think it was like Hall American Real Estate. Yeah, that was like back with my Kim Howell days. Matter of fact, we had a recent reunion. She had me on her podcast. It was probably one of the funnest experiences I've had on a podcast.
Kimberly's great.
Absolutely. It could have been like the 6 tequila shots, but who knows? She's relentless, man. She's relentless.
Not as good as I once was, as good as I ever was.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So this magazine, both, I should say, has definitely helped the community, has definitely helped those that you're featuring within it. How has it helped you, Jason?
Yeah. It helps me.
And the reason why I asked that is you are the man behind the curtain. You know, I don't see you out as much as before, similar to myself. As we get older, we've got our relationships. We know who we need to call, et cetera, et cetera. We're not hitting the streets as much. And for those out there, it's like, okay, well, behind the scenes, what are you getting out of this other than the money, you know?
Right.
But I know that there's something. I know that there's probably plenty. What are those?
Yeah. I've always been a connector, and I tell my sons all the time, your network is your net worth. And really that's, you know, when a business owner or a real estate agent or a Dominion resident now calls me with their need, their problem, their issue, I no longer say, I can help you. I now say, we can help you.
That's strong.
And, you know, really just the relationships, you know, if I can just, you know, shout out, you know, to Bobby Cavender, you know, he bought in early to me and to the Dominion and to what I was doing. And for whatever reason, just really mentored me. And Bobby's a level 5 leader, man. He's one of the smartest guys I've ever met. And just having those conversations with him, whether it's about his family or personally or about his businesses and different things like that. Again, much like the Dominion, you learn so much.
Yeah.
And, you know, I remember shared this with a couple of friends of mine over Coffee Friday. I remember when I was 26 years old, I went to a conference in Dallas. I'm at Prestonwood Baptist Church, one of the largest churches in, you know, the country. And I'm at this conference with all these business leaders and all these people. And I'm looking around the room, and I'm standing in the back of the room, and, you know, Jordan is probably about 2.5 years old.
Okay.
So new dad, just, you know, all these dreams, all these visions, all these, you know, looking around like, wow, watching these people on stage and, you know, speaking and, you know, thinking, how do I get from my seat to that stage?
Yeah.
And not because I wanted everyone to look how great I was or whatever, but again, it goes back to that principle. I wanted to matter, right?
That's right.
I wanted to do something. And I remember in a moment of great clarity and great humility, I picked up the pad off the table and I wrote down one sentence. And it's the only sentence I wrote down the whole day. And it was, I am currently not good enough to make my dreams come true.
And for you in that state at 26, having that level of self perspective, self understanding, were you lying to yourself?
No, at that time I was not good enough.
I figured,
you know, there was a gap in that moment. I realized that it wasn't a matter of I needed more time to go by.
That's right.
You know, I needed to get older. I
need to work on me.
I need to work on me.
That's right.
I am the lid on my life. And that is so sour at first. And to anybody that would hear this, you know, you have to answer to the person in the mirror
every freaking morning. If we're
right?
lucky. Yes.
And you know, there's a lot of people that want to blame the market, or you want to blame your spouse, or you want to blame, you know, your boss, or you want to, you know, we can make all kinds of excuses. And there's always enough truth in an excuse that it seems so plausible, so believable, so valid.
Yeah.
right? Like, well, if I had what so-and-so had, or if I had what they had, there's people that look at me and say, well, if I represented the Dominion, I'd be doing that too. And well,
if they only knew where it started, how it started.
Right. And, so we can make all kinds of excuses because it's so sour at first to say, I'm the lid on my life, right? Like whether it's in my marriage or in my parenting or in my business, I am the person that keeps showing up in all these scenes of my life.
Yeah, the common denominator.
Right? Like I was coaching a business owner out in Arizona earlier this week, and he's walking me through his week and we're catching up. And I said, you know what sticks out to me? In the documentary of your week, you are surprisingly absent from the whole thing. Like I'm hearing about your clients, I'm hearing about your spouse, I'm hearing about all these other people, but I don't hear about what you're thinking, what you said, what you did. And we can take ourselves out of the documentary of our own life. Like it's about all these other people without realizing you are the person that keeps showing up.
You're the director of the whole damn thing.
But here's where it becomes sweet. Here's where sour transitions to sweet, and what it did with me. I also realized I was the only person I can control, and I'm the only thing I can change.
Man, these are strong. Wow. Yes, you're right.
And so, if you, and there's so many people that are praying prayers and going to masterminds and, you're doing all these things. But if you are wanting to make your business, your life bigger, you got to get better.
Yeah.
Right. What makes some of the goals, some of the things so satisfying is that you became the person capable of accomplishing them.
Yeah, most definitely. Now question for you. At age 26, sitting there in the pew, writing that one sentence, it was definitely a realization, very humble and honest conversation with yourself to come up with that solution or epiphany or profound sentence. Was there any immediate action?
Yep.
What was that?
So I began to go up to the top leaders in that room, and I began to say, hey, all I can afford is to buy you coffee. But if I could have an hour of your time, I'd appreciate it.
How strong is that? Now, I talk about this pretty much on every other discussion I have with others like you and myself. And it is the idea of capturing that free information, but is it really free? It shouldn't be. You should at least reciprocate in some way, shape, or form. But when it comes to seeking out knowledge from those that have been there, done that, they're more than willing to share.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what has gotten me where I was, I'll never forget, one of my mentors early on told me, Jason, just be a turtle on a fence post. I looked at Don and I was like, I'm not rich. I don't know what that means. And, he was a cowboy, and he said, Jason, when you're walking through the pasture and you see a turtle on a fence post, you stop, think, he didn't get there all by himself. And, as I look back,
man, that's a good point. Yeah.
Right? He didn't get there all by himself.
Good point.
So, as I began to say, hey, can I have an hour of your time? And God, when you really become teachable and you really become humble enough to submit to the process, God begins to put people in your life. And not much longer, Earl Seals came into my life, Jason Heatbrink and Kevin Ryan, Jonathan Price, Bobby Cavender, just different people. God begins to put these people around you.
Yeah.
And, I think we make an idol out of success sometimes.
Yeah. Most definitely.
All right.
Yeah.
And were there times what I was doing, was I doing it for God's glory? Absolutely. Was also doing it for my glory a little bit too. Yeah. And it's when you begin to open your hand and you begin to let go and you begin to really say, okay, what if it's not about me? What if it's not about me? But how can I serve? How can I influence? How can I impact? And when you bring value,
Mm-hmm.
God has a way of just bringing it all back to you.
Yeah. And,
You know?
and I do live by the concept of helping enough people get to where they're trying to go, help enough people to accomplishing what they want to accomplish. You'll get to where you want to go. And it has served me well thus far. Now there's been bumps in the roads. There's been, goodness, landmines in many cases, but I'm here today because of the pouring into others' cups.
Mm-hmm.
While realizing and keeping as much as possible my cup as full as it can be. That's not always easy. I mean, for a top producer, for someone, entrepreneur, business owner, et cetera, and many can relate out there and many can't, but it's not always easy.
Right.
That same person is in the mirror every day, for better or for worse.
Well, I think, the pillars that I learned throughout that process, if you're going to grow your business, if you're going to grow your life, there's things that I've taught my son is, first of all, it comes down to character.
Yeah.
Right. Who are you when no one's looking? Who are you when it's just you?
Yeah.
Does your personal world match your public image?
Mm-hmm.
Character. Talent may open the door for you.
Yeah.
But character is what keeps you in the room.
Yeah. Because eventually the real you comes out, you get discovered, or you get confirmed.
Right.
So
from character, it becomes clarity.
Yep.
Right. Like, what do I want? Who am I? Who am I not? Right. I think figuring out who you're not sometimes is just as important as figuring out who you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Because at least with me early on in my leadership and in my business world, I'm looking, okay, well, Bobby Cavender does this. Well, Andy Stanley does that. Well, Maxwell wrote that. I'm trying to do all these things because I don't know who I am authentically.
Man, I felt like you were talking about me years ago when I started getting into the idea of I need to find someone to mentor me. So I started reading books because I didn't have the funds to hire a coach just yet.
Yep.
And this person says this and this person says that, but then that person that I actually know says this. Well, who am I? What do I want to become?
Oh, I'm a big believer in coaching.
Yeah, same here.
Right. Even Tiger Woods had a swing coach.
Yeah.
MJ had.
He needs to get a driving coach.
Well, yeah. He needs to get a driver.
He needs a driver.
What the world are you driving yourself around, man?
Yeah,
your net worth starts with a B.
Yeah.
Why are you driving yourself?
Get off the roads.
But yeah, just figuring out who you're not and who you are. Don't try to be a mediocre version of someone else. Become the best version of you.
That's strong.
And so character, clarity, that leads to courage. I believe that life comes down a lot to these moments when are you willing to believe God and bet on you?
Yeah.
In 2014, when I was ready to launch this magazine with no readership and no clients and nobody knows me, and I'm walking around my house at 2:30 in the morning and I'm looking at Jordan asleep in his bed and Ethan asleep in his crib at that time. That's how young he was. And I'm just, thinking, okay, well, I've got a little bit of money in the bank, but if this probably doesn't work out, I'm going to be selling my house. And it comes down to, are you willing to believe in God and bet on you? And, and I keep it, in my office every day, be strong and courageous.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
And then it just comes down to competence, and that's the easy, that may be the easiest one. It's just the skills.
Yeah.
Right. And, the skills you can learn, you can develop,
adapt to, you can be coached on. Absolutely. Yeah.
But that's putting in the reps.
That's right.
And, it's like I told, my son, we were working on his jump shot the other day, practice doesn't make perfect. It just makes permanent.
That's right.
And perfect practice makes perfect.
That's right.
And, putting in the reps, and that's getting a coach, and that's investing in yourself and investing in your business. That's really when things begin to take off. And so, what do I get out of it? I get a chance to meet some of the coolest people in San Antonio, tell their stories.
Yeah.
I get a chance to connect people in San Antonio, right? Whether that's in the Dominion community, the real estate community, the business community. And from that, I get to be in some of the best rooms to where I become a better man, a soon to be better husband, better father, better business owner myself.
How freaking cool, man. And that's what it was all supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
So you did it.
Yeah.
And now, have you recently wrote, I was good enough?
Not yet. But I did just write, what if it all works out? And it's just about the process. And
is this a book?
It's something I'm putting together.
Dude, okay.
So,
very good.
Yeah. So 2021 began to go through the divorce, which was a setback. And, and really that causes you to stop and think, okay, like, who am I really?
Right.
And how did I wind up here? And you can just feel so isolated.
For sure.
Right.
Yeah.
But the setback has to happen before the comeback.
That's right. It's a setup for the comeback, baby.
Right. And, so my counselor and my coach at that time really just walked me through some great exercises called closing loops.
Okay.
And, from that, just really began to shift, because I went from, I don't know that I ever want to get married again, to, okay, I think I do want to get married again. And then, you begin to look like, okay, God, bring me the right person. And that doesn't work out. And so in 2025, my coach actually shared this for me for my birthday, 2025. I shared with him, I'm praying, Lord, make me the kind of person that the person I'm looking for is looking for.
That's awesome. Wow. And sure enough, huh?
And then, about 6 months later, and Ethan and I, my youngest, were walking out of Target. I'll tell this story because it's just such a God story. Ethan and I are walking out of Target, and he looks over him and he says, Dad, that girl's checking you out.
Good job, bird dog. Yeah.
And I said, oh, really? And he was like, are you going to go talk to her? And I was like, no. And he's like, why not? Are you not interested? Right? And I'm like, and I was like, well, at the right time, God will bring along the right person. And I'll never forget, he looks at me and he goes, well, you better hurry up, because right now you're still muscled up and hot, but you're going to get old and ugly.
Good job, dude. Yeah, good job.
I mean, God help him. He's so much like me in general. And
honest. Absolutely. And was he wrong? No, he's not.
No, he's not wrong. And so I'm like, get in the car, kid.
That's right.
And so we drive home. That night, I'm brushing my teeth and just laughing, thinking about it.
Wait, so you didn't talk to her?
Oh, I didn't talk to her. No.
Okay, keep going.
And I'm just laughing and brushing my teeth and just thinking. And then sure enough, I get in bed and, I pick up my phone and I'm like, well, heck, he's not wrong. Yeah. And so I pull up my phone, Facebook, scrolling, doing my thing before I go to sleep. And it pops up Facebook dating. And I'm like, but much like when that website, Intuco.com popped up 12 years ago, and God said,
here's the path. Here's the path.
I felt a little nudge that just said, give it a shot. And
it's like he was showing you at Target. You missed that. So he smacked you on the head and said, here.
So I had ChatGPT create a dating profile. I spent like 90 seconds, like 11 o'clock at night. I threw it up on Facebook, tossed my phone on the nightstand, rolled over with my German Shepherd, and went to sleep. And I woke up that next day and I pull up my phone and it's like all these messages. And I'm like,
hot commodity.
Well, I don't know about that. Scarcity and demand, maybe.
That's awesome.
And I'm like, well, holy cow, this is overwhelming. I don't know what to do with this. And so I just shut it. I get the general ready for school. I go run my meetings. I'm at Lifetime that afternoon sitting in the sauna. So I'm like, okay, I got 20 minutes. Let me see what this is about.
Yep.
And so I pull it up and like some of these people have gotten mad that I haven't messaged back. And I'm like, holy cow, I didn't ask you to message me.
Right.
So I'm like, whatever I got to do, swiping left, I guess, right? Like you're gone. And so I decided I was going to do lunch dates.
Okay.
Right. All right. We'll go do a lunch date. That way, if it gets weird or awkward, well, I've got a meeting. I got to get on a call. I got to go get the kid. Like I got an out.
Yeah.
And so I went on a few dates that it just wasn't there. And then Veronica popped up.
That's how y'all met.
That's how we met.
Okay.
And we had a mutual friend and Grant. And so I texted Grant and I said, so tell me about Veronica. And he said, dude,
I'm under an NDA. Sorry.
He gave me the lowdown, which I appreciated. He was like, man, many have tried, none have succeeded, but you won't find anyone better than her.
Wow.
And I was like, okay. And so this is now Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Going out of town. Me and the boys are going to the Cowboy Chiefs game for Thanksgiving Day. And so I shot her a text and I said, hey, this is my number. I'm traveling for the holiday. When I get back, let's connect. And so I didn't think I would hear from her, but as I'm driving up to my parents' house that Tuesday night, literally as I get in, she shoots me a text. Hey, this is Veronica. This is my number. I was just thinking about you and wondering if you made it safe. And I thought, well, that's cool as hell.
Yeah.
And
that's pretty strong for response. Yeah.
Well, and we would find out later last week or a couple of weeks ago, Memorial Day, we're driving to the pool. She pulls this hat out of her closet that says, good things are coming on it. And I said, oh, cool hat. I'd never seen it before. And she said, yeah, my cousin gave it to me last year. And she was like, I was at a few of my favorite things party or something that girls go to, I guess.
I have no clue.
No clue. And I was like, oh, okay. And I tried to get it there. I didn't get it. I was at her house during Thanksgiving and she gave it to me that night. So we traced it back the Tuesday night that I'm driving up, that she shoots me the text message. Hey, just wondering if you made it safe. Was the night that she gave her that hat.
Oh, wow.
Good things are coming. And so from that text message, we began, because I don't do a whole lot at my parents' house. So we just began to text all week, really began to get to know each other. Moved up the first date, went to Capitol Grill, and there was just something different about her immediately. And, God just began to, put it together. And that's actually what it says on the side of the hat is, what if it all works out? And so, just journaling that. And we wound up getting engaged on my birthday. And now we get married on Thursday.
That's awesome, Jason. And I'm very, very happy for you because you deserve that, man. You deserve happiness. You work your tail off. And it's important that I view you also as a top producer in what you do, but we have to have something to do it for. Mm-hmm. And at a certain point, the kids are off and gone.
Right.
And you've got to have the rest of your life to be shared with someone. And I'm proud of that, man. Yeah.
Thanks,
congrats.
Man.
Definitely. Yeah. So as we wrap this thing up, I've learned so much about you. Plenty I did know already, but I did not know how versed you were in the world of coaching. Are you a coach?
Yes.
Didn't know that.
Yep.
Okay. Very cool. So folks out there listening, now. Is there anything, matter of fact, we went through all of the questions that I had just in the conversation. Is there anything that you'd like to add before we close this off?
Man, anything like that? I would just say, build a life you don't need a vacation from. Build a marriage you don't need an escape from. And build a business that functions as much as a calling as it does a career. I have learned firsthand what it looks like to achieve without alignment. And it's an expensive way to live.
Yeah.
And so, really that's what we're about, and if we can help you in Dominion or we can help you in Real Producers or You want to, just connect on what it looks like to bring your life into alignment. That's what we do because when your personal world and your professional world align, that is really when you become the best version of yourself. And that is when you really begin to live your preferred future.
Yeah.
And don't miss out on that.
Strong. That's strong. One last closing question. So, Jason, you've built a business around highlighting people, connecting people, and helping professionals become known in the right room, like we're talking about, right? For someone listening right now who feels like they're good at what they do, but maybe they're invisible to others, what would you suggest is maybe the first thing that they should do?
Reach out to me.
Boom.
If you feel like you're flying below the radar, if you feel like you do a good job, run a good business, the thing that I would say to you right now, being referred can be more powerful than being remembered.
Mm.
And you can try to do a lot on social media. You can throw out your offers or your products or different things like that. And you may get some clicks, but it probably won't lead to clients. But when you begin to really find the right rooms with the right people and the right way of doing things, that's what takes off. And there's a lot of people that I really hurt for. Like, they're working their tails off. They're trying their best. They want things for themselves. They want things for their family, for their kids, but there's just this gap. And if you are living in that gap, whether it's me or whether it is someone else, find someone else who can help you close that gap between what you're experiencing and what you expect for yourself.
That another strong statement, man. Jason, thank you for joining me today, man. I really appreciate it. And I'm glad that we didn't put this off any longer.
Me too. Thanks for having me on, Mark.
Absolutely. Congratulations on Thursday. Don't run.
Yeah.
Hopefully she won't either.
The only place I'm running is to it.
Amen. I love that. For you guys listening out there, I want to say thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for subscribing. I'd throw it up on the screen, but I think we're at like 58,000 subscriptions. It's continuing to grow. And the reason being is guests like this who are willing to share, be open and honest about their experiences, about their advice, transparency, vulnerable, and share their true journeys. And we will catch you on another episode of Real Estate AF.
Look at yourself in the mirror and ask, did I get better today? Monday, get better. Tuesday, get better. Wednesday, get better. If you do that for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, how much better will you be? Are you getting better every single day? That's the real question. And it all comes down to taking small steps. You don't have to accomplish everything.